In nearly every recent Star Citizen video, I've talked about 4.0 being just around the corner. And since it's on the PTU right now with people actively turning themselves into Reavers and Pyro, I thought for sure I wouldn't do another video on it before it released. But CIG had to go and make another update with so many ships in it that I was forced to create exactly one more video to let everyone know what's going on in Star Citizen Alpha 324.3. With the return of one of the many annual We Want Your Money ship selling events, this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo has brought with it a totally unverified record-breaking number of new vehicles ready to convince you to hand over your hard-earned cash in exchange for the right to put yourself inside of them and run around. But even if you're still holding strong on the No Cash Till Pyro program, you can still head into each segment of the event to check out all of the ships offered from that brand, including these new ones. First up is yet another option for your starter ship needs, this time from Crusader Industries and their asymmetrical oddities line, the Intrepid. Much like its predecessor, the Dodge Intrepid, this vehicle is designed specifically for people who don't have a lot of money to spend, don't really care what they look like in public, and are willing to use whatever has the tools necessary to get the job done, no matter how shitty those tools are. From the outside, you won't have any idea what's going on inside this collection of random shapes slapped together with Stevie Wonder precision. But you will have access to each of the 2 drop-down skid-style cargo bays holding 8 total SCUs or a handful of crouched dudes with a tiny window to allow you to see inside. Around the corner is a lovely entrance section leading you to a delightfully useless hallway that will direct you to one of 3 destinations up to several feet from your current position. Contrary to popular belief, entering the rear isn't as fun as you'd imagine, but it is where you'll find quite a bit of shit. Here, most of the equipment for making the ship go is accessible, as well as an engineering panel that will make managing your solo ship only slightly convoluted. You'll also find additional access to the 2 cargo bays so you can dig through your luggage without getting sucked into the void. Further up that magical hallway, you'll find a cozy little hab complete with a single bed, a beautiful family dinner setting with seating for 1, and the never-forgotten shitter shower ready for business. When you finally make your way to the end of that hallway, you'll get a little more hallway and access to the pilot seat. Now you can take your baby Ares starfighter to the sky and pretend this much smaller single size 4 gun and incredible 2 missiles are enough to do anything other than become the most comfortable looking pile of burning rubble the moment you get into combat. But if you're looking for a more robust ship full of cozy amenities that forgoes the eye-straining asymmetry and replaces it with a more ass-pleasing conical design, then look no further than the all-new MISK Starlancer Max. The big brother to the MISK Freelancer comes in at about twice as long, twice as girthy, and with twice as much cargo as its Max little sibling for twice the pleasure. Like all of the best ships, you can freely enter from the rear to the first of its wide-hipped cargo bays, with windows for your cargo to take in the sights on its journey. Through the door, you'll find a second cargo bay on either side of a raised catwalk with doors running all along the belly of the ship for equally easy access from the interior or exterior. Continuing forward, you'll come to what I'd just call a foyer, where you can exit the side of the ship to a dock or continue on to the armory, where you can equip yourself with suits, weapons, or just take a little nap on this bench while your friends die on away missions. Back in the foyer, you can take the elevator up to this exciting in-between room, where you can then turn left into the rec room. This is where the party starts, in an area complete with a cozy dining section, a pool table that probably won't become a disaster in 0G, and a bar where you can drink away the years you've waited for 4.0. The next door opens to a hallway surrounding a block of random doors, each leading to individual rooms featuring double beds, full shitter showers, and working mirrors to scare the shit out of yourself with. There are also more elevators in this section that I didn't previously notice that will take you down to the cargo bay in case you want to join those boxes in their view out of the windows. And if you want to look at more engine components and engineering panels, you'd be right if you guessed they were in the back where the engines are. Heading back through all of that fun to the even more significant fun of the cockpit, you'll find the roomy tip of this curvy vessel complete with 4 stations ready to go, including 2 seats allowing control over the front and rear remote turrets and a switch for blast shields in case you don't like getting shot in the face through the window while at the virtual controls of these guns. The standard pilot and co-pilot chairs sit in front of the largest dashboard area I've ever seen and allow you to send this thick boy into the sky where it belongs, ready to haul just enough cargo with just enough firepower to do most of the things you want to do in the comfort, style, and phallic majesty only MISK can provide. But if you're more interested in the fragments of solo play that might still remain in Star Citizen's future, you can always check out the revamped glory of the Mark II iterations of the Anvil Hornet F7CR and F7CS. These civilian versions of military fighters feature enhanced scanning functionality and enhanced stealth functionality respectively. Two exciting features that have developed into rich, vaguely functional gameplay elements after years of barely existing at all. But if you want to enjoy more core gameplay features that are on the verge of being partially implemented, then you'll want to check out the updated and polished Anvil Terrapin and all-new Terrapin Medic. This little armored nugget is also a master of long-range scanning from its bespoke guy-in-a-chair seating and minimalistic living accommodations, perfect for someone who hates themselves as much as they hate the rest of the public. But if you do want to interact with human beings and still want that turtle aesthetic, you can now opt for an emergency vehicle option to get all of the fun of the probably significantly cheaper C8R Pisces Rescue, but with the bonus of a medical bed one tier higher and that coveted armor that may one day be part of the game. Another new vehicle that actually showed up in the previous update and delivered more exciting new features that will only be useful in a future with more content adds yet another ground vehicle to the mix with the Argo csv-sm. This glorified four-wheel drive pickup truck is the perfect way to get 4 SCU of your stuff from one place to another as long as that other place is relatively close by and there's nothing significant in the way. Plus it fits perfectly in the back of this real workhorse pickup truck so you can haul it and the things it holds to all the places it can't. Yet there is one long-awaited piece of the Star Citizen puzzle that has finally come online, and it's so big that walking under it feels like you just started watching Spaceballs. It's time for the RSI Polaris. This monstrosity snatches up the crown for the most massive player-ownable ship currently in the game, and it uses that thickness to hold a whole lot of stuff packed tightly within its armored hull. To get inside, you can either head to the front and wait for the slowest elevator ever created, or head about 50 yards to the side and presumably just yell up at the ship to have a gargantuan ramp slowly extended right at your face while it blinds you with lights. At the top of this mountainous climb, you'll find yourself in the belly of the beast standing in the middle of a cargo bay. To the front, you'll be able to take a cargo elevator ride several thrilling feet up to the next level and run into the beating heart of the Polaris, the torpedo room, where this behemoth launches equally behemoth-y sized 10 torpedoes designed to make even the biggest, strongest ships into the biggest, deadest shits. And if that doesn't do it, you can always step forward into the chin turret to slap a few cannon rounds into them for good measure. Back across the cargo belly to the rear, you can step straight into the engineering section with numerous engineering panels for you to do whatever those engineering tasks are wherever it feels most comfortable, except of course in 4.0. Then you can take an elevator up to the second engineering deck where you can get an elevated view of those engineering things from behind the safety of glass. Another level up, you'll be on the main deck of the Polaris where you can view the majesty of a ship hangar large enough to hold several different sizes of ships from small to probably bigger than small. On one side, you'll have the convenient life-saving miracle beds of an infirmary along with a desk for someone to sit at waiting for people to become mortally wounded. On the opposite side of the hangar, the same size area is dedicated to jail cells complete with a criminal bed and a showerless criminal shitter. On either side of the ship, you can enter a door that will swoop you right into a defensive turret that emerges from the hull to provide the bare minimum of cover for this big-ass ship. Further toward the front, you'll discover the crew quarters with half a dozen rooms, each meant to accommodate 2 people crammed into bunk beds, sharing a shitter shower only feet away and fighting over a seat that would, at most, fit 2/3 of an ass. There's even a dedicated area for plants for you to admire their leaves blowing in the ever-present winds of space. Across the hall, you'll find a crew recreation area with a TV section, tables and seating, what I assume are soft-serve machines, and a single functional chess set so your turret gunners have something to do for the hours that no enemies are around. As you near the front, you can peek into the armory where you'll keep the weapons, suits, armor, and all of the other less fun gameplay isolated to its own unique room. And finally, you'll come to the bridge where you can take one of the seats on the side to either take control of the rear-mounted bottom turret or the rear-mounted top turret that forgoes the meticulous challenge of aiming guns and lets you rely on the astounding inconsistency of missiles to fend off your enemies. You can also hop into the pilot or co-pilot chair to get the ship moving and booming, or take the captain's chair to do absolutely nothing like any good captain should. But somehow, this random update isn't just more ships than we've seen all year packed into a patch that I assumed would be mostly bug fixes. It also includes a brand new weapon/device/implementation of AI that actually does something: point defense cannons. These new automated turrets only exist on a couple of vehicles like the 890 Jump and Constellation Phoenix at the moment, but once they're strapped on the outside of a ship and powered up, they're ready to start automatically blasting away at enemy fighters and incoming missiles to ramp up your personal safety with the least possible effort. However, with all of this new stuff, we're still waiting patiently for 4.0. Even as it shows up stripped of half of its initial offering, taking it from the most groundbreaking and transformative update ever to come to Star Citizen by a wide margin to something more like just a significant patch that will probably break everything for 6 months and let people murder each other freely in a dedicated zone. But if you want to see the inevitable review of that and any of the dozens of patches that have led up to it over the last 5 years, like this video and check out these other Star Citizen videos here.